hey, if you want your NAS to turn into something like this, or something like that, then watch this video, because we're going to talk about Docker and what you can do, few fun things you can do with it. Because people been asking, what can you do with your NAS? Because once you set it up and use it for backups and fast storage, you kind of forget about it because it does its job. You only know or talk about your NAS only when something's going wrong. But if it doesn't, it's kind of boring. But it's only boring if you want it to be boring. So fun things people are doing. I found on the forum, on Synology forum, people asking what sort of Dockers you're using. And let's start with what is Docker actually. Docker is something similar like virtual machine. But if you don't know what virtual machines means, that on a NAS, the resources you got, this memory and CPU and everything and hard drives, this Docker borrows little bit of resources from all of these things and turns them into some sort of microscopic, like miniature a server of something, of application. That would be probably better description, some sort of app. And if you have QNAP, you can install their container station. They don't call it Docker, but they call it container station. It consists of LXC and Docker. The requirements are pretty simple. All they ask for is 1 GB of memory. It's slightly more difficult with Synology NAS. It needs to be Plus series NAS with Celeron based CPU at least, or something more difficult like Xeon or something, or Ryzen. So these are the models you might need. If you have one of these models, yeah, you're the lucky one. You can actually do some fun stuff with your NAS. So first thing, I'm just going to go through because many of these things I'm not using myself, but I just made a list of things what others in the forums are talking about, what they're using. So maybe it's going to actually help you to discover new apps you can actually install through this Docker thing. So first of all, this RESTYABOARD, this open source system where you can create your boards, tasks, to-dos and chats. This is probably good for a business. If you're using your NAS only for file storage, you could actually turn it into some sort of management system, some sort of planning system where you can create to-do things and follow up with your team and things like that. This is just a list of things you can do, like loads. You can do chats, you can do boards and to-dos list, and just you can type in this URL and check yourself. Let's just whiz through all these things what you can do very quickly because there are quite a lot. The second thing is HomeKit. So if you want to turn your home into a smart home and have access to things like Alexa maybe and Ring or your doorbell and control your temperature and check what the temperatures are and lights and switches and stuff like that, you can link it all together through this HomeBridge. The other thing, you can turn your NAS into a forum called Flarum. It's open source, it's free, and it's actually quite function rich. You can do things like you would need to pay for the service to actually to do things like this, and this is for free. And you can install it fairly easily. That's called Flarum. Moving on, we can do even cryptocurrency mining. It's like Chia. If you probably have heard about this lately, you can install a Docker, so it's going to borrow some resources and use your storage space on your NAS to do some farming of this coin, and you might actually make some money on that at the back of this. So instead of having your NAS having all this storage capacity available and not using it, you could actually make it work. Moving on, maybe you might be interested in Bitwarden, which is password manager. If you don't trust your Google Chrome to say passwords or Mozilla or any other service you can use your own Bitwarden. So your passwords are saved on your NAS. Safe and sound. Maybe you want something like BookStack. That's some sort of content management system, I can say. This you can manage your photos, edit some pages, and make maybe your own books. Moving on, Tiny RSS. If you're still using RSS, a way of following news. So if you don't want to get bombarded by emails or go to hundreds of pages and follow what is going on, what's new on internet, you can still use tiny RSS, import those RSS feeds, and you'll get notified what is new. So you can follow only things you care about. Blink server, what is that? Platform for iOS and Android applications, similar to Raspberry Pi. Maybe something for you. I don't know, what is that? Some sort of management system as well. Moving on, DNS, free dynamic DNS hosted on AWS. Something people use. I'm not using this personally. File share, other way of sharing files. So if you're not using Synology or QNAP built-in sharing options, you can go for file share option. Let's move on. Your documents and so Mayan EDMS, web-based cross-platform free open source. That's document versions. So probably this would be installed on things like Acer Store, where they are not offering functions like Synology or QNAP, where you can actually go into different versions and folder snapshots and things like that. You might use this. PE hole, that's like little mini computer which people use to save some energy and do things like automation and things like that. So you might integrate this as well for smart homes and stuff like that. OpenVPN, maybe this is something you can consider. So you can create a secure tunnel between your NAS and destination device. Jackett, that's for those who love torrents and stuff, so you can integrate all those torrent feeds into one manageable system where you can search things and then get notified what's new, what's released and stuff. This is part of Sonarr as well. People usually group them together with Sonarr and other things. Then Grafana Labs. This is something as well, like a dashboard system. You can see system resources about something. Resilio, something as well for synchronizing your data between different platforms. You may use that using point-to-point option as functionality. Duplicati 2.0, maybe if you want to back up things as well. This is works on different platforms. If you don't like to use Drive app, which might be too resource demanding, so you want something simpler, so then in those cases you might actually activate Docker and have an application like Duplicati. So Toolies, like an extension, support sort of app for PLEX. Moving on, Charlie. Super fast, database free bookmarking service. So if you want to store your bookmarks instead of on the top bar somewhere in the Chrome, you want to save those bookmarks somewhere down on your NAS or something, you can use this service. Splunk, what is that? Some sort of dashboards, all IT operations and all sort of things. You can have a look. I don't know what is this, but this is what people use Docker for, so maybe you can as well. Commento, maybe you can create your own commenting system, because there are a few free commenting systems, plugins you can use for your WordPress and stuff, but free versions usually involve having ads displayed among this content, among those comments. So this is the price you pay. If you go for Commento, that would be your own open source commenting system you could use. Rokid Chat, if you want to run your own chat. If you don't like Synology Chat, you can go for this one. It's much less resource demanding again. A YouTube DL server, if you want to download YouTube videos and all that, having automated. Ombi allows you to host your own PLEX requests, something for PLEX users. Moving on, Heimdall. This is a way to organize all links and websites. So it's all some sort of bookmark service. So maybe this is something you might be interested in. Lidarr, this is again for people who love torrents and stuff, and merged into all these feeds of torrents available, what's coming on the feeds and what's not, and organizing basically your things. Jackett, I think we mentioned this already. Telegraph, agent for collecting metrics and writing them into influx database. I'm not using that, maybe you may find use for it. BookStack, free open source wiki designed for creating beautiful documentation. So if you want to create your own wiki site, maybe it's for business, for internal knowledge base and stuff like that, then you may install this. NZBGet, that's again for torrent lovers. I think those who are using torrents, they already know what this is. Moving on to root torrent, some mini version of torrent. If you can't have this torrents app installed on your NAS, then you can go for a Docker version, which is less resource demanding. KeyWeb, password manager. Again, if you want to save your passwords, this is one of the other alternatives you can use to store your passwords. UniFi, if you want to control your network rules and settings, then this is something you can install. Sonic, this is like a SoundCloud system. When you want to host your own music and stream it, you can install that. If you don't like Audio Station or DS Audio. Next one is Cursor Core, cross-platform IRC. So you may be still using IRC instead of Skype or any other chats. You want your private chats created and things like that. So IRC is still alive. You can still use it using this Docker. Maybe you want a Minecraft server. Why not? You can run your own Minecraft server on your NAS. That's one of the options. Handbrake, that's for converting your videos. They're converting any sort of video into any other form of shape of video. So for example, if your TV or a tablet or phone doesn't support certain video files, Handbrake is gonna transcode them into something playable, so they can actually watch videos we can play. Paperless, that's again for some businesses probably. You can now have, I think they do OCR systems as well, that you can scan through documents and manage them, save them, and turn them into digital things. Redis, open source network in-memory key value data store for optional durability. I don't know what is that, but you may be finding use for it. I don't know, but apparently it's popular, Redis. Moving on, Paper Merge, again, one of the document management systems. I think this one got OCR for sure, PDFs support, so you can manage your documents. Bazaar, again, it complements Sonarr and Radarr, all torrent stuff. I'm not going to go deeper in that. And SpotWeb as well. You can follow some sort of web content. You can follow some feeds as well and stuff like that. So I hope this was helpful. If you got any other ideas, maybe you got your different Docker images you are using and I didn't mention them, so maybe you can put them in comments so other people can discover things they could do with their NAS using Docker. So make sure you put them on the comments there. If you got any other comments, you can put it in the comments, send an email to info@NASCompares or go to NASCompares, fill the form on the right hand side, ask your question, and we're going to make video like this. Maybe you want us to talk more about certain Docker application, so we can go deeper into those subjects and cover them. I hope this was helpful, and cheerio.